Okay, so thank you all for taking your time. So this chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita is quite interesting. Not so usual how any book may start, because Bhagavad Gita is known as the book of wisdom, right? But if you see, the chapter 1 begins with confusion. Here you can see how Arjuna is thoroughly confused. So first chapter is more like setting the scene actually. So first picture is like first this thing session is like first chapter is like more like setting the scene. So what's happening here? Now we can see the first verse itself, what it says. So you have Gita. Can I show here first verse? Yeah, correct. The first verse. I can share with them also.
Can you share the Zoom link? Is it the okay, same Zoom link?
No, I can just share here.
Same here.
Achha, okay. Same Zoom link. What?
Yeah, let me join the Zoom link.
Okay, so just see the first verse. So what it says, can repeat after me. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavashaiva kim akurvat sanjaya. So what is saying Dhritarashtra? So now see Bhagavad Gita is happening. It's so this whole Bhagavad Gita is actually it's a conversation, correct? So now there are three levels of conversations. So first level of conversation is the conversation between Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. Correct? So Dhritarashtra is inquiring here and Sanjay is going to answer. Right? So the first level of conversation. The second level of conversation is actually between Krishna and Arjuna. So you don't find Krishna-Arjuna conversation right in the beginning. So Arjuna and Krishna's conversation happens a bit later. So mainly starts, the mainstream conversation starts actually from 2.7, verse chapter 2, verse number 7. And it goes till at the end of the chapter, but not all. It's like the last few verses. So again, Sanjay is speaking like that. So you can see that this is second level of conversation happening. Now there is a third level of conversation, which is much more powerful and relevant to all of us. The third level of conversation is, it is a conversation between the Lord in the heart of every living entity and the soul. There also a conversation happening, right? So now Dhritarashtra and Sanjay, where they were? They're in the battlefield of, no, sorry, they're not in battlefield. They were in Hastinapur, actually. They're sitting in Hastinapur and that conversation is happening. So entirely, so what's happening is Sanjay is telling what Krishna and Arjuna are talking, right? But Krishna Arjuna, that conversation, the talk happened where? In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? And this conversation of the Paramatma with the living entity, the soul, this conversation is also happening in our current real life situations. It's also kind of battlefield, and we are also sitting in the chariot of this body, correct? This body is also like a chariot, and Lord in our heart is like a chariot driver, and we are the passenger. So we are confused about our duties. We also have so many battles going on, right? So many conflicts going on like that. So actually, Bhagavad Gita begins with a beautiful conflict. For that conflict, so that we'll understand with this example. So Anyway, some quiz question first. How many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita total? Okay, how many chapters are there?
18.
18 chapters. How many verses?
700.
Yes, 700 verses. True. Correct. Yes. So, somebody left. Shant left. Shant left. Somebody left the meeting. No? Who left? Yes. So, yeah. So now, I will give you a scenario you'll understand. Imagine there is a doctor who is treating a patient, and he's a very big man. Say he's a prime minister or somebody like that. And his life is so important to so many people. It's like the whole nation is looking up to him. If he can be saved, then people, there's a lot of good work which he can do for the nation. And he has got some organ failure, and he desperately needs immediately some organ from a live person. Immediately he needs that organ. And when he takes the organ from that person, he has to die. Something like that kind of situation. Now what happens is, that time only this doctor gets a call, and the people say that actually his son has met a very very deadly accident, and we don't know how much is going to survive. It's like he may die or he may survive. We don't know. So chance of survival is less, but he's still living. It's not dead yet. So now the doctor has to just find out the organ. Any next person, he has to find out the organ so that he can save the life of this great man. And then this son also comes there only, right? Because he went an accident, and son also comes to the same hospital. And the doctor has an option. If he can take out the organ of his son, who is likely to die also, then he can save the life of this great person. Even though the chance of survival for his own son will be very less, but no father can actually do that, because it's very heartbreaking. Even if he has to survive, maybe not much, but his father will always try to see that his son lives as much as he can. Correct or not? Like, even if suppose for a few hours he lives, so even to take out that organ just few hours before also is very painful. Correct, no? This is a fact of life. Father cannot do that. But this is a dilemma. So here, the dilemma which this doctor is going to face, this dilemma is not about good or bad. Correct? This dilemma is more about right versus right, which is more right. It's very tricky. It's not easy. It's a very a dilemma at different levels.
Moral conundrum.
Sorry?
Moral conundrum.
Yeah, it's kind of not so easy. So, so Arjuna is also like kind of facing some kind of dilemma like that. I'll give you another scenario. Let's say you're a judge, and there's a person, who actually is found that he has done some kind of mishandling or some kind of crime for which he is supposed to get death sentence. And when that person comes in the court, that person happens to be his own dear uncle, on whose lap he grew. Right? And he knows him as a person, and somehow he acted in certain ways. Though overall he understands him as a nice person, he has been very nice to him. So now in such situation, once you see him, right in the court, and you are the judge, and all depends on you. If you do your duty faithfully, then so then this person is going to get hanged, and is going to get killed, and that way you are killing your uncle. And if you don't do that, so you are doing injustice to your professional, your duty, the professional duty. And if you kind of take a decision of him getting hanged, then in that sense you are actually kind of doing injustice to your family, because he's your own uncle. How can you just kill your own uncle like that? So Arjuna's dilemma is also something similar actually. You understand this point? No? So Arjuna is actually in a dilemma where he is thinking whether I should. So that basically two dharma which he is kind of getting conflict with. So one is called Kula Dharma. What is Kula Dharma? Because he's seeing that his Kula, all his great, grandfather, his great teachers, his all cousins, all who are there. So if they get killed in this, fratricidal war, then what is going to happen to the entire Kula? Because there will be Varna Sankara. What is Varna Sankara? He says that all these women will become widowed and there will be adultery and there will be unwanted progeny, and that will destroy the entire dynasty. So he actually was thinking about the protection of his own dynasty, which was a great concern for Arjuna. That was one dharma. But another dharma was Kshatriya dharma. Because Arjuna also had to fight his battle. Because as a Kshatriya, he's supposed to fight for the virtue. He's supposed to become an instrument to establish dharma of, the vice, the virtue should be established. Because the Kauravas have become irreligious. So that's why he has to fight for the sake of dharma, for the sake of Kshatriya dharma. The Kshatriya, one should protect the citizens from getting ruined. So if Kauravas, they rule, then they will not be actually able to protect the citizens, not only protect in terms of providing them food, clothing, shelter, but also protecting them from going astray, away from the path of righteousness. So that was also the dharma of Arjuna. So Kshatriya dharma versus Kula dharma. Both are important for Arjuna. That's why he was confused what he should do actually. You'll not find in Bhagavad Gita any time Arjuna is concerned about his own death. Never. That was never a concern for Arjuna. Whatever fear he expressed, or he was getting the symptoms of his hands were quivering and things like that, there is never a mention about Arjuna being anxious or concerned or lamenting about his personal death. That was not at all a concern for Arjuna. So you can see that Arjuna was actually a very qualified man. He was not just thinking very selfishly about himself. So this is about. I'm just trying to help you understand that how this the entire Bhagavad Gita's background is. How this, what's the scene, what's going on, and then how the Gita actually comes out then in the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, as I was saying, is actually the inner meaning of Gita is the conversation between the Lord and the soul.
Really?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Sorry. So I was saying, okay, so I'll also show you the some things on this. Okay. So anyway, coming to the point, yeah. So I was saying that this conversation also is happening between Lord and the living entity. Okay. So and so that's why Bhagavad Gita also becomes a guidebook for all life's difficult decisions. Whatever we are going through in our life, so Gita is actually is a lighthouse for us to get the direction. You getting now? Like once there was a captain in a battleship. So when he was there in that battleship, so he was a very big post holder with officer. So he saw some light in the midst of the ocean. Like, he saw the light there, the lighthouse. So he did not know this lighthouse. So he thought, because it was very foggy and not visible much. So he told, "Hey, get aside, move towards south, some 10 degrees towards south or something," as he said. And then the reply came, "You move towards north." And then that fellow said, "Come on, no, this is battleship. You obey my order." And then he replied back, "No, we cannot. You move." And then he said, "Come on. You don't understand. Who am I?" Something like that. He sent back. And then he said, "But what can I do? We are lighthouse." So you should move on. And then he understood, oh, it's lighthouse. Then he accordingly took turns. The same way, you can see here, here that there are some eternal principles, actually they should become our lighthouse, and we should take directions accordingly, in our lives. So sometimes we want to change situations, circumstances, we want to see that how things go as per my way, right? We expect things, as per what I think should happen. But actually, the life is always going to be, having so many varieties of things, ups and downs and confusions and everything. So amidst that, we need that lighthouse. And we have to change the course of our life, based on that lighthouse, not expecting situations, people to change much. Because what is in our hand? To actually hold on to those eternal principles. That's in our influence. But do you have control over others? Do you have control over situations? Not much. But what you can do is you have full control over your own situation, your own taking the shelter of those eternal principles. You're getting this point, no? So that's why Bhagavad Gita is a very profound wisdom book, which actually gives you so many eternal principles, which are actually lighthouse for us. And every living entity, can actually take those eternal principles and take in their life. And that the choice is with the living entity. You can do that in all situations of life. Arjuna was in such kind of crisis in the battlefield, right? And where actually when Arjuna came, he was simply expecting even then that maybe now Kauravas should change their mind. Because there's a verse coming, I will show you later, that after he comes to battlefield, he says to Krishna, I'll show you the verse. He says, see what he says. He says that I'll be a little bit like going to and fro just to show you certain things. To see. Yeah. So you see, it says that. See, oh, and Father, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Now think about it. Arjuna already knew, all these people who are going to fight. Arjuna already has seen them. Arjuna already know their, the way the army and all will be arranged and everything. He has quite good idea about it. But why Arjuna is saying that, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight. Why Arjuna is saying that? The reason is Arjuna is thinking, who are these fellows? So much bent upon, fighting. Maybe they might have changed their mind now. Because Arjuna was not at all wanting to fight. Because he was just not able to take it. That how can he kill his elder ones and his own cousins? It's very, very difficult for him, right? So that's why Arjuna was thinking maybe now they may change their mind, like that. Arjuna was thinking. What was the point I was telling just before this?
You said that you were waiting till last moment to Kauravas to also change their mind.
Yeah, correct. But before that, what I was making a statement?
Lighthouse.
I was saying that, yes, I was saying that, so Arjuna did not have control over changing the decisions of Kauravas. Did he? No, he did not. No, his own brothers were bent on, having this war and ready to kill. All of them, right? So, such a great person like Arjuna also was facing that crisis, that he's expecting some of his family members to behave in certain way, they're not at all behaving like that. In our lives also. And there's not something ordinary behavior, it's like such kind of ghastly, determination of having a war and just killing and usurping the kingdom. It's not something ordinary as well. And even Krishna himself went as a Shanti Dut, but they did not pay any heed to it, the Kauravas, right? And Arjuna is a pure devotee, even for him also. So there was nothing which, could do, there was nothing which could, actually change their mind, because they were just bent upon fighting. They were bent upon going on with that kind of, wrong idea of usurping the kingdom, actually. So you can see, this actually gives a very great lesson to us. Sometimes we become so obsessed in just trying to rectify the situation, rectify the people, get into some things which is actually not a circle of our influence. It's maybe a circle of our concern, right? Right? But you see, Arjuna, what he did? Arjuna eventually, instead of too much getting into all that, now I should change them. He actually took the wisdom of Gita. So the lighthouse, as I said, he took that shelter of the lighthouse and the eternal principles, and he followed in his life what he could do. Because, okay, let people do what they do, but I can follow the eternal principles in my life. That will bring a big change. That will bring, some kind of real change. The best thing what can happen is this: if I follow to the eternal principle, that will bring good to me and good to others as well. Actually, it brought good to even others also. How? Because in battlefield of Kurukshetra, whoever died in that battlefield of Kurukshetra, they all attained salvation, because they all died in presence of Lord Krishna. So they were also purified.
Can I ask question?
They also was purified, because they were killed by the arrows of a pure devotee. But surely their salvation was of different grades. Those who were favorably disposed, they went to higher destinations. They were not favorably disposed, they were they're not good that higher. But salvation means here, they were all liberated from all the sinful reactions. And some of them attained, the eternal kingdom also. Those who appreciated the beauty of Krishna, they were favorably disposed. So different people, accordingly, they got different kinds of elevations. But they all got freed from all the sinful reactions. They all got salvation. Yes, what's the question?
In the morning 7 a.m. class, there was mentioned that.
When you remember the time of death. No, that is a very intimate, when you get. So even a demons, when they're killed, even they may also get liberated. But see, the liberation is not devotion. Actually, liberation devotee does not even aspire for. It's another topic.
Okay.
Yeah, even demons get liberation. No, but devotee aspires for a loving, devotional attitude to serve the Lord and please the Lord, which is the very goal of devotee. Even though he may be in this world also, he doesn't mind. So we will discuss some other time that how liberation is very insignificant thing for a devotee. So anyway, so the point what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, so Gita's wisdom is actually, is trying to empower us to take shelter of those eternal principles and go, in the right direction in our life towards God, to attain God, like that. So the first question here you can see Dhritarashtra Vacha, it says, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So what is Dharma Kshetra? So Dharma Kshetra is the adjective for Kurukshetra. What is Kurukshetra? Kurukshetra is the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? So Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, meaning this Kurukshetra is a holy place. Is a holy place. And I'll give you an example. Let's say there is a cricket match and there are two opponents and they're going to play. So somebody asks a question. So India and Pakistan, they had the final World Cup match. After the team assembled in the battle in the cricket field, what did they do? What is the answer? They played the match. As simple as that. It's very straightforward answer, right? What did they do? They played the match. They played the match. It's like that. So if you have to ask very specific question like who won, who lost, or whether everybody, there's no specific answers. It's like he's just saying what happened. So actually, the question looks like what did happen, and it's quite obvious answer to it. But the question is much more deeper. It's something which is not spoken directly. Like for example, suppose in house where the people are going to assemble and going to dine, eat dinner, there's some terrorist who has put some bomb there, and it can explode anytime. Okay. So now suppose you are aware of that situation and you're curious to know what is going to happen there. So you may ask a question, when all the guests assembled in that home, what did they do? Correct? No? What happened? So if suppose the person who doesn't know it, what he'll say, if all of them they came, so what happened? What happened? They will eat. That's all will happen. They were assembled for dining. What happened? After all the guests came to the house where they sat on the dining table, what happened? They ate. That's a simple answer. No? Correct? But here Yudhishthira is asking what happened. No? What did they do? Why is asking? Because he is very greatly concerned about the outcome of the battle. That's one thing. And also he was concerned that it should not happen that because of the influence of the holy place, Kurukshetra, which is Dharma Kshetra, their minds get changed. It should not happen that my sons, that is the Kauravas, they should not get affected by the holy place and their mind may change and they may settle with the battle. They may settle without battle. They may give some part of kingdom or something. It should not happen. He was concerned. And also it may influence Yudhishthir's side also. And Yudhishthir, Maharaj and Pandavas also may sometimes, because of their already virtuous, the holy place can make them further somewhat reflective and they may also choose not to fight. But he very much wanted to have that fight and also he was concerned about the outcome of the battle. So that was a more deeper question actually what he's asking. So he's saying Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, because he was concerned that it should not affect them in a way that they may settle without having this battle like that. That's why he's saying Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, Samaveta. Samaveta means they have assembled. Yudsava, to fight. Samaveta Yudsava. Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva. My sons and sons of Pandu. Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva. Kim Akurvat, Sanjaya. What did they do? Kuru means to do. Kim Akurvat. What did they do? Kim Akurvat, Sanjaya. He's asking to Sanjaya. He got his point. So this is how he's asking. So this other is worried because his son Duryodhana is fighting an unjust war and he fears maybe this holy place will change his son's mind. He knows that. And then later, See, so Dharmkshetra asks Sanjay, okay, so Kshetra is field, Dharma is Rajyasthana. Kurukshetra is field of Dharma, Dhritarashtra fears the holy influence might change his son's mind. Okay. Then here he says, Arjun, now see the further verses will come, but externally Duryodhana seems very bold, confident, and aggressive. But internally he is very insecure, anxious, and worried. Who? Duryodhana. Hmm. So you can see reflection. Duryodhana speaks with bravado to his teacher Drona, but his words mask deep insecurity. The Gita reveals that human psychology is often a conflict between what we project and what we feel. So here Duryodhana is projecting himself a very confident person, but if you see the verses of Gita, it clearly shows that Arjuna is just putting a mask of being confident, but actually is feeling very insecure. There will be some proofs for it. I'll just show you. Go to the verse and see. So what happens here is, then he starts telling, Sanjay said, O king, looking over the army arranged in military formation, the sons of Pandu, military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So he went to his teacher and spoke the following words. What he spoke? O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So why I'm saying this point? Let's see here. Oh, you did not see that, right? Sorry. Now you see this. Sorry, I did not see. You're able to see? So he's saying, sons of Pandu, also specially arranged by intelligent disciple, son of Drupada. So what happened that there was a rivalry between Drupad and Dronacharya. And so Drupada, he actually made, so the son of Drupada is Drishtadyumna. So Drishtadyumna was born by the plan of Drupada so that he could kill Dronacharya. For that purpose only he was born. Now, the Drishtadyumna, he went to take teachings from Dronacharya. And Dronacharya is a Brahmana. So a Brahmana is supposed to be liberal. And that time they would follow the rules. So even, and Dronacharya also knew that this person is actually, he will be the person who will be instrumental in killing me. He knows that. Despite knowing that, Dronacharya still gives him all the teachings of archery skills. Sometimes very amazing. So he knew, but still he trained him like that. So Duryodhana is now sarcastically pointing out this kind of grave mistake of Dronacharya.
Prabhuji, I just have one comment.
Yes.
And this is, I think, opposite of like Kamsa, right? So Kamsa came to know that Krishna is going to kill him, and he wanted to kill his own sister. This is kind of opposite to that.
Yeah, correct. So here he is following dharmic path, no? Over Dronacharya. He's not an ordinary person. So he's like Brahmana and he's following that path, yes. So anyway, yeah, so I was saying that Prashant Prabhu left. No, Prashant is there. So I was saying that so Dronacharya trained him. So now Duryodhana is very sarcastic telling, so see, this is insecurity again, because he's pointing fault of Dronacharya because he's thinking maybe these fellows are not so committed. Already this Dronacharya has done this mistake of empowering, training somebody who is going to kill him. And now this person actually was the commander of Pandava's army. He only has arranged all the military phalanx and everything. He was in charge for that. So Drishtadyumna has made all that arrangements. That's what he's saying. See, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Drishtadyumna. You see, Channa is pointing out that. So now, why he's saying like that? Meaning, now you should not do this any mistake further. Don't put your compassion again on your own disciple and even your other disciples like Arjuna also, he's a disciples only. So he was kind of having insecurity, thinking that whether these are going to really commit to this fight or not. They should give their full heart, because before they have done some mistake, So now they should not do that mistake. Now they should fully, no compassion. They should be fully fighting like that. So he's trying to point on that. Now he also so there is Bhishma Pitama also, but he goes to first Dronacharya, just to point out this thing first, and then see how diplomatically he will say. Let's see. Here in this army, many heroic bowmen equally fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virat, and Drupada. So he's trying to, give himself confidence that, in this army, we have many people who are equally fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Bhima was his rivalry. Duryodhana was very envious of Bhima. He was equal strength almost. So more than Duryodhana, he was more thinking about danger is from Bhima. And he was trying to give his confidence to himself. That's why he's speaking such words, you see. And then saying there are also great heroic powerful like Dachukad, okay, like that he says. Then he says there are the mighty Yudhana, powerful Tamaja, son of Buddha, son of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. He's just trying to give confidence to himself. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Then he says, the personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Vikarna, son of Draupadi, all the same. And then he says, the many other heroes are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons. And then he says, our strength is immeasurable. We are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. And so all of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma, as you stand at respective strategies points of entrance into the phalanx of the great army. Now, see the way Duryodhana is speaking. First, he said that we have people like Bhishma Pitama, they're like unconquerable, great personalities. And then what he's saying, all of you should support Bhishma Pitama. He's diplomatically trying to see that, okay, when he's glorifying Bhishma Pitama, let other people should not feel that they are not needed. Okay. You should also support Bhishma Pitama because he's a great man, but he's also elderly and like that. So, and also, he's also having a doubt on, doubt means some kind of insecurity again, that whether Bhishma Pitama is he really committed or not? He's having about his loyalty, about his commitment. He's kind of, not fully sure. So all of you must also give full support to grandfather Bhishma. He's saying like that. As you stand at your strategic points of entrance, you see. Duryodhana, after praising the prophets, Bhishma further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. So that is saying. So what he's saying, see, he was confident of the full support of Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya in the battle. Confident means he was actually doubtful. he had some kind of insecurity whether really he'll be supported by them or not. Otherwise, but he's confident. He's trying to be confident. You understand, no? Because there is a doubt, there is insecurity. That's why he's trying. That's why he's trying to be confident. Yeah.
Outside, he's a confident.
He's trying to be. Yeah, he's trying to be confident. But he knows. See, he's saying what? He's also thinking like that. He didn't know that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi in her helpless condition had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of great generals. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performance and they should fight. So he was kind of, also having that insecurity whether really they will commit or not. And then he says, the Bhishma, what happens then? The Bhishma got fed up, with this kind of diplomatic, maneuvering of Duryodhana, political maneuvering of Duryodhana. So he got kind of fed up only. And he then blew the conch. So that's what we see. That actually he's bold, confident, aggressive, but internally insecure, anxious, and worried. Actually, that's why he's trying to so much talk about his strength. Mine is immeasurable. There is limited. We have so many warriors, and they're at par with Bhishma and Arjuna, Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya. No, they are going to fight now, and you understand, no? So he's very, very insecure and anxious and worried. Though actually he's trying to be very bold, confident, and You got this point, no?
Yep.
Yes. So now the next point. Here all they blew the conch. And then afterwards, what happened? That Krishna also, the Krishna scene is very amazing. This is the first time when Krishna is appearing in the scene, you see. Yeah, for here it is over, right? Now, this is the first time when Krishna is appearing in the scene, in the entire, Bhagavad Gita, for the first time. On the other side, both Krishna and Arjuna stationed on a great chariot, drawn by white horses, surrounded their transcendental conscience. So the sight is that Krishna and Arjuna both are there, and Krishna is chariot driver, and Arjuna is charioteer. He is the person who is, the main person, the warrior, and the Krishna is the chariot driver. So you can see here, this is amazing that the first entry of God is when he's just being a menial servant of his devotee. So this, he says that it's a very powerful leadership lesson, that how God, though he is God, but he is like when a hero is entering, first time. So this is a very important thing, right? So the first entrance of the hero Krishna is that he is simply identifying himself as a servant of the devotee. So the most powerful person chooses to serve as a driver. The leadership lesson. True greatness is not about ego, but about service, for servant leadership, lifting others, not ourselves. So Krishna is always trying to see that how Arjuna is glorified. Actually, Krishna says also to Arjuna that, when later Arjuna, in one point of time, in 11th chapter, Krishna shows universal form and he says that, see, I am already devouring all of them. I have already devoured them. They all are died. By my plan, they are already destroyed. You simply become instrument. Nimitta matra bhava savyasachi. You just become an instrument. All this Bhishma, Karna, and everyone is already devoured. They're all entering in the mouth of Krishna as Vishwarupa Darshan, in Vishwarupa form. Just to tell Arjuna, you don't have to worry. You just become instrument and you take the credit. So Krishna could have done everything by his will only. But he wants to always glorify his devotees. So he made Arjuna as man of the match. Yes, Abhinav.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So in the previous thing, right? So you're telling like Duryodhana was so insecure. Especially he was concerned that the Dronacharya or Bhishma, they might change sides or they may not put in their like full effort in like defeating the Pandavas. So I think even in the present day scenarios, I think, we can't really trust everyone, right? So so that will create some sort of like doubts also for people. So in that scenario, like how do we overcome that kind of
Doubt, doubt
feeling?
in our heart or in people's hearts?
Doubt about like basically, okay, if you are in doing some partnership or something, there is no guarantee that the other person will like stick to their words,
That is
especially in this
true.
Kali Yuga.
That is true. That's why you cannot. That's why this material world is tough. As you said, it's Kali Yuga. That's why it is tough. So that is why this whole world is called a place of uncertainty.
So maybe like if we surrender to Krishna and like just leave the
Yeah.
outcome to
So what is
Krishna.
certainty? What is certainty is that amidst all that uncertain things about your, some people will obey you, they may not obey you, some people may support you, some people may ditch you. So many things may happen in this world. But one person will not give you up. He will not let you go down. He will not betray you. Who is Supreme Lord? So amidst all your business partnership, your relationships, your studies, your career, your health, whatever you do, you keep investing and it's not certain. Even if you do everything for going gym, everything, every day you do push-ups and everything, there is no guarantee. You can die, you can get heart attack even then also. And you can die. There are many healthy people who got cancer. There are many healthy people who got heart attacks. And there are many people who are smoking, drinking, everything, but living for 90 years, 100 years also. You'll see that. I'm not promoting that. You don't need to be regulated or don't need to go to health and all. surely can impact your life, but there's no certainty because this world is an uncertain place. So the point is that so what the message of Gita is that yes, it's a place of uncertainty. You may you may you may take certain risk and you may try your best, to be a good leader and to be good and to see that how people can be more supportive and have your trustworthy relationship. You can try all that. There are many things can be spoken about it. But apart from all that, one very important factor is that one important principle is that the only certainty in this world is Krishna's words, Krishna's direction, Krishna's protection. So that's why we also practice spiritual life and we also act in this world as a devotee, because whether things will fail or succeed at physical level, at our external level, but if you are living a life of a devotee, you are always succeeding. You will actually succeed. Param Vayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. That's what he says. Like he says, Jatayu. Jatayu was fighting, right? So he took a risk. What if he fails, and he dies? So yes, he died also, right? So it was not certain. It was no certainty that whether he is going to kill Ravana or not, but he attempted, right? But he got killed actually. But because he fought for pleasure of Lord Rama, so he is actually successful. He was promoted to the kingdom of Ayodhya in spiritual world, eternal life he got. And who did the final rites? Lord Rama himself did. Same way, same thing for Arjuna also. Arjuna, if he has to fight, there's a risk. But what is certainty? Krishna. That's why Krishna told you, don't worry about Labho, Labha, Jaya, Jayo, not required. Krishna, so many verses he talks. They don't have to worry about the outcome of the battle. You just simply fight for my cause. Whatever the result comes, you leave up to me. And that way your life will be glorious. That's what Krishna taught him also. So when you are doing some partnership or something like that, whether the other person will betray you or not, that is true. It can happen. But you follow the path of dharma. You don't have to do shortcuts or manipulate. We remain. We always remain follow the principle. We always remain principle centered. We don't live life in a way that when we see that things are not going to get our way, then we do some kind of shortcut, we manipulate, we take the side of adharma. We don't do that. We should be very much be trying to aligning. We should always try to align with what the eternal principles are. Krishna's messages, like that. You got this point, Abhinav Prabhu?
Yeah, I think I got it. So I think at the end of the day, what you are saying is we need, if you are living like a life of a devotee, we need not be anxious about what others are gonna do, because at the end of the day, Krishna is gonna take care of
Yeah,
the result.
things are not
Yeah.
in your control. You can do
Yeah.
your best, but you have to always live with that risk and uncertainty in this world.
Yeah,
Like you came to US, with
yeah.
taking visa, with flight, there is risk at every level. What if, like, suddenly the US people, US government becomes anti about India and says kill all Indians because you're in his territory only. If Trump becomes very crazy about Indian, he may say, whoever Indians are here, just kill them all. Can you do anything? No, can't do anything. Or if he says, no, okay, just deport everybody, no matter who, just deport everybody. So you may have big job, you have invested so much time, energy, money, you feel like defeated. Correct?
Yeah,
Or even a simple thing, let's say you board a flight to come from India to America, everything is all right. But that flight, do you have full certainty that you are going to survive? The flight crashes, then what? Like Ahmedabad flight crash happened. So uncertainty is at every step here. That's
yeah,
what Gita says, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. He says, Padam Padam Vipadam Natesham, Bhagavatam says. At every step there is danger in this world. So how
yeah,
you're going to live life? The only thing is that we live life of a devotee, because we know whether we live or die. If I am actually Krishna conscious, if I'm a devotee, then my safety, my security is Krishna. Krishna will take care of me. Even if I have to take next body, Krishna is going to facilitate my journey towards him further and further.
yeah. So basically, devotee is not afraid of defeat or death or anything.
Yes,
He's always fearless, devotee.
yes, that's true. Yes. And that fearlessness comes because of that security of Krishna.
Yeah. which Duryodhan didn't have
Oh, he didn't.
clearly. So I think that's very nicely highlighted in the previous slide. Yeah, thank you.
Abhinav bro, can you put your video on again? Just to see you again. The
Oh
same Abhinav Gupta or different?
no, I'm Abhinav Purmadali.
Can you put your video on once? Just wanted to see. Can you put
Yeah,
your video on?
give me a minute. Give me.
Okay. Well, time is up, Prabhu. I think I don't want to delay today. Maybe we can continue. I know you might be finding interesting and you may have, we can go ahead, but
Can you see my video?
Acha, acha, Abhinav ji. Okay, Abhinav. I got it. Okay. You're a devotee. Right. So, okay, so far is going good.
Sorry.
So far it's going good, all of you. All of you can put your video on, if you don't mind. All of you can put your video on. Yes, so any reflection? Just maybe one reflection, we'll stop it. No, actually, I don't want to delay much because tomorrow is Ekadashi and Puneet Prabhu is already there in the temple. Okay. Yeah, in the temple only, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I have got one more reflection from what you shared. Can I say?
yeah.
So another thing, like you were saying about um Arjuna being in a dilemma between like two dharmas, if he should kill his own brothers um versus um doing the dharma of kshatriya, right? So I think he was initially confused, like he was like because he's a devotee, he had a very compassionate heart, but I think later he realizes, I think that real compassion here is to actually kill them. Because if the Kauravas had given Arjuna like even like Pandavas like those five kingdoms or something, like so like five villages, the entire war would have been like they don't have to, he wouldn't have to kill. But in this situation where he was, the real compassion is to kill his own brothers because they were completely unrighteous, like adharma, they are doing adharma. So basically if he let the progeny of those adharmic people grow, the adharma only will keep growing. So I think the highest compassion here is to kill them. And that's exactly what I think Krishna says later on. So that's, yeah, I just thought like killing here is like the real compassion.
That's why, see, one thing is that sometimes maybe things will be confusing. That's why we have to follow the words of Krishna. Because our compassion is not sometimes, not absolute. Because it's like, sometimes the elder sister may want to feed pakoda, fried aloo, the potato things and all, to the younger kid who may be having fever. Because just because the younger brother is saying, I want pakoda, I want pakoda, I want pakoda, it's okay, let me be compassionate and give him the pakoda. That make agree with the disease, correct? No. So what way she can show true compassion to the child if she actually she's in line with parents? Then she can exactly know when to do what. Same way, this what so Arjuna fought the battle actually only by aligning with Krishna. So he fought because he surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna wanted him to fight, so he fought. Krishna, if you say it is good for me, fine, I will do it. So this is how it should be. So that is real compassion. So if you follow Krishna's word, that's real compassion. Actually.
Yeah, that
Because
makes sense.
Krishna is the Suhridam Sarvbhutanam. He's the supreme well-wishing friend of all. So when he's doing something, it is for supreme welfare for everyone. So even if you understand, you may not understand. Like Arjuna was actually trying to evaluate a lot. What is actual good, long-term good. In fact, he said, Hare Krishna, this is a short-term goal. I will get kingdom. But long-term goal will be think, Varna Shankara will happen, so many problems will happen. So is it really an act of compassion? Because he was thinking Varna Shankara will happen, then so many people will become irreligious and much more bad things will happen. If I kill all these people, they become widows. So he was also confused, right? He was also thinking in terms of what is actual good for a long-term good. He was also thinking from that perspective only. You getting now? Sometimes we may not be able to come to the conclusion. What is the real compassion? What is actual compassion in this case? Sometimes it will be difficult for us. But the way to understand what way we should act is to surrender to Krishna and his representatives. You understand, Prabhu?
Yeah. I mean, here, fortunately, Arjuna had direct presence of Krishna.
So we also
So,
have direct presence of Krishna through Krishna's message, through Krishna's representative. That's why everybody needs Guru. Everybody needs a bona fide Guru means bona fide spiritual master. Then only one can actually follow the words of Guru, and then he can actually be truly situated in all his actions. Those actions will be not some kind of whimsical action, but it will be really a true. It will be truly beneficial to him and to the whole world also when he follows as per the order of Guru and his representative, as per Krishna or his representatives. It's same thing. Krishna says that whether you follow me directly or my representative, same thing. There's no difference. It's good. Is following Krishna only. So Krishna's words comes. So Guru is nothing but mouthpiece of Krishna. He is amplifying the words of Krishna. He is amplifying the directions of Krishna. So we need a Guru. Why we accept Guru otherwise?
yeah, correct.
Yeah, that will come. These things will come later. More. Okay. Any other reflection? Punik Prabhu or Abhinav Prabhu. Let's hear from Mohit Prabhu. So Mohit Prabhu is here only. Let's hear from Prabhu. What's the name?
Deepak.
Deepak Prabhu, Mohit Prabhu also, and Mataji and Prabhuji and Mohit Venu Prabhu. Yes, go ahead. Abhinav Prabhu, you want to say something? Abhinav Gupta Prabhu.
Yeah, I think
You can also
this,
talk about overall, what was your overall experience of this session? Was it tough? It was easy? It was relatable? You can give some kind of reflection on that and some points as well. Yes.
yeah, I think like facing that dilemma is something very relatable that we all face dilemmas every day. And most of the time it's not about like just right or wrong. It's also about like
Right versus right.
right versus right as well, yeah. And figuring out or like you just like are in so much self-doubt if you're even understanding what is happening the right way or not. Uh, but I had one question like they he had a dilemma and he even though he tried he hoped that the Kauravas would not fight or like they would like give up but most of this he was in his mind he was talking to Krishna and he was like hoping things would change like why didn't he actively try and change the Duryodhana side or like I don't know
Oh,
if he took
no, they did.
steps to change
They
it.
did a lot. They did a lot. They tolerated a lot. In fact, Krishna went, as I said, no, Krishna went as a Shanti Dut. So many things were tried, but somehow they were bent upon not changing themselves. In that. That's why
Yeah,
Krishna's told at the end also, no, that now there is no other way. There is inevitable fight only has to happen. Fight is inevitable because they were not ready to at all bend. That's why Krishna even bargained. Just give them 5 villages. They will be at peace. Don't worry, because they have to rule somewhere. So all that was tried, but they were not ready.
it's like a fight or die situation, right? Do or die situation, kind of.
Yes. Okay, Abhinav.
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like it was a good lesson today, and something that I can apply every day as well.
So you felt it was easy for you to understand, or it was a little technical?
Yeah, like I feel like I had some context. Like I've watched Mahabharata a bit. Not until like I've watched until like Karna coming like showing up in the battlefield and like Duryodhana giving him the crown, but I haven't watched after that. So like I had all that context, so then because of that I understood most of the things. But other than that, like it was fine. I feel it
Good.
depends. Like if so many people don't know about like uh Kauravas or Duryodhana or like all that, then like it might be confusing. I think, but like It's okay. It was good. I liked it. Like it was very easygoing, very story based, and yeah, it was nice to even listen. I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to like leave the call, so that's a good thing.
We'll continue. We'll continue some other time. Yes, Prashant, Prabhu, you want to share some point?
I have a doubt, like, what will happen to the kids and wives of the Kauravas? Like, will they not develop grudge on Pandavas and the cycle of violence will continue?
Yes, that was the concern of Arjuna also.
Yeah,
That was the main concern.
how to
Yes.
deal with that?
Yes. So yeah, so that's what Prabhu, that's what happens. Like when you take a decision, both are painful. Like you take this also is painful, you take that also is painful. You getting, no? Like for example, that the first example which I gave of the surgeon, right? So if he takes out the organ of his son, it's painful or not? It's painful. And suppose he doesn't take the organ and the great man dies, that is also painful. So both the situation is painful only. So which one you are going to do? That is the point. That's what we are going to discuss. When you see the darkness in both the sides, when you see the pain in both the directions, both the decisions, so what can be done? So that is the whole dilemma of Arjuna was he's facing. So somewhere you have to take one option, which is the will of the Lord, which is aligned with the eternal principles that we have to see. So we have to always. So there are different, like there is dharma, there is higher dharma, there is highest dharma. That is paro dharma, which is called what Krishna wants, like that. So we have to evaluate situations in that way. That what is to be done here based on what is the will of the Lord. So that is called Bhagavad Dharma. That is called Paro Dharma. That way. You're getting now? Like for example, when a person has to go to fight at the border. So now, if he dies, so is it not injustice to the family members? It is. Because at young age you're dying, taking risk of your life. You're risking, and then whole family, will miss. Okay, you may compensate by getting some government pensions and all, but that doesn't replace the husband, The loss of a husband, loss of a father is, it's very painful, right? But if suppose he doesn't go to fight, then there's so many families, they will get pain. So many people will die also. So that is another thing. So both are painful. Correct? So, but for the sake of higher thing, that is to save many families, he must sacrifice his own family. You understand, like that? So this is how the world is. I mean, this is how the reality in this world is. So we are facing that's why the life is tough in this world. It's not it's going to be easy. So if you and especially it is more tough for people who want to be responsible. It doesn't mean that the life is tough for them. Life is tough for everyone. In fact, the life becomes much more pain, much more misery giving and suffering those who don't follow any dharma. Irresponsible fellows. They get punished, left, right, center by Mother Nature. That they don't understand. So they bring enormous suffering. But I'm saying even those who want to, follow the path of dharma, so they will have to face a lot of painful situations also. Like here, Arjuna's dilemma was more because of a sense of responsibility. See, he could have just got into fight if he's wearing one goal, okay, I have to kill them and get my kingdom back. He did not face that dilemma. Correct? He was facing dilemma because he was thinking a lot. He was thinking, what will happen? How can I kill all my elder fellows? This responsibility and dynasty, how can I see my dynasty getting destroyed? You're getting this thing. So Kshatriya Dharma, Kul Dharma, as I said. And how can I not fight because it's my duty also? So what should I do? So he was actually a man of principles. That's why he was feeling that pressure. Like, one of the person, he was saying that he likes, flying. Like he was a pilot. He's a pilot. So he says that it's wonderful that every time I take off and I feel nice, but also I feel very great pressure on me because if I do some mistake, it will cost the life of many people. So I feel a lot of pressure as well. So when somebody feels pressure, when he feels responsible for something. So if you want to follow the path of dharma, you'll have to face a lot of painful situation also. Don't think that That's why people take easy path. But they don't understand that easy path doesn't bring the real happiness also. In fact, you get more, you're more liable for punishment actually. Because you're not following anything, you're like irresponsible for it. Then you are overly taken charge by matter nature. Enormous suffering you get. You go to darkest regions of sufferings actually. You're getting this point of view? So even if you want to follow the principles, life is not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. Because this is how the life is. And that's how we will gradually be able to attain Krishna when we show our surrender to Krishna. Oh Krishna, yes, life is tough, painful, but I surrender to you. Whether it is painful for me or not painful for me, following your will is my, what's ultimate dharma. So I follow the path of dharma. Like, see Bali Maharaj. I don't know whether you know the story. Bali Maharaj, when Lord has to give, Lord came to ask the 3 steps of land. Then Bali Maharaj, was ready to give, but it was painful. Why? Because his own guru turned against him. His own guru told that don't give, and he cursed him that you will lose everything and all that. So you see, at the cost of losing his own guru, the same guru who saved his life, So he said that don't give him, but he surrendered to Krishna, and apparently he was defeated. He was caught by Varunapash, and he was insulted. All that happened, but he did not give up because he understood this is the highest thing I should do. Surrender to Krishna, surrender to Supreme Lord. So we should make that as our lighthouse. That surrender to Krishna is my ultimate thing. Yes, and for that there may be many painful situations. Like when you become a devotee, sometimes your own family members may not like it. अरे क्या ये बाबा बन गया, अभी तो सन्यासी बन जाएगा. So many things they say. It's painful. Many of your friends may not like you. So many things will happen, right? But you still surrender to Krishna. Because yes, we cannot avoid pain in this world. But let us take pain for the highest thing, the highest cause. So as devotee, we should not try to avoid pain. But what we should see that, are we doing the right thing or not? It's not about pain or pleasure. It's about doing the right thing. Or not right, doing the rightest thing. The rightest thing is to surrender to Krishna. And for that, we need Guru. We cannot whimsically, concoct our own ways. How can I surrender to Krishna? Because it can go to another way also. For example, I'll tell you, there was one boy in IIT Kharagpur. So he started saying that, oh, I want to study, I want to just read here, sing Vaishnava song. It is all studies and Maya. So his guru's representatives, they were telling her, no, you should study right now. It's important for you to study because it is for your overall good. Your parents will be happy, college authorities will be happy, and gradually practice bhakti. We are guiding you for bhakti only. But he said, no, see, you're all not guiding me properly. And I should surrender to Krishna directly, fully. So he was, tomorrow exam is there, today whole day he's singing Vaishnava bhajan, this and that he was doing. And that fellow, failed. And then college authority became very disturbed. They took him, from the center college. And then this fellow also, he thought to give up college and went to Mayapur to join, something like that. Then he came back and he became very bad shape. Eventually he was blaspheming the devotees, saying that they are not guiding properly, they are not helping. They are in Maya, they're telling me to study. And then he became blasphemer, and then eventually gave up all his practice. I heard even that, I think he was even smoking also, I'm not sure. But you can see how one becomes completely, asar. He loses all the good things, what he has got. So one should not concord also in the name of surrender. One should follow the bona fide spiritual master. So Bali Maharaj, his guru, that guru was not a spiritual master. He was a kul guru kind of person. So what we are saying is the spiritual master who comes in bona fide disciple succession, who is representative of Krishna. So we have to follow, Krishna and Guru, like that, because it's not sometimes easy to understand what is the right course of action in this situation for me. That's why everybody needs Guru. So Prichamit Tvam Dharma Sammuna Cheta, he says, I am confused about my duty. So this kind of confusion comes for everyone. That's why we need the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. So you should be guided by Shastras, Guru and Sadhus. Got it, Shantu? Deep point, no? So don't worry about pain. Worry about following the words of Krishna, word of God. That is more important. Jatayu got pain. Pandavas got so much pain. They had to follow, Krishna's direction. So much pain.
Actually, I remember two examples that came out of this Kurukshetra, right? Like what Prashant Prabhu was saying, there was a revenge. Ashwadama tried to take revenge. He killed the sons of Draupadi, and then he also wanted to completely destroy the lineage of Arjuna, and he shot a Brahmastra for Parikshit Maharaj. But then Krishna saved. He even like went into the womb of Uttara and he saved. So, if you take shelter of Krishna, like even those people who want to take revenge, they won't be successful. Like, so Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe Ke.
Yeah, but in some case you may be killed also.
Yeah.
Because Krishna's protection is not on superficial platform of body only. He may protect your body, but even if so, your body, like Jatayu's case, body was destroyed, but their soul is protected.
Yes.
Because see, from Krishna's perspective, you are the person's soul. Let's say somebody is drowning, so his clothes got drowned and he saved the person. So he saved only, no. You cannot say, no, but the clothes down, no. So that's why the person is not benefited, no. So sometimes Krishna's protection, is not just mere for the body. Sometimes he protects the body also. But even if the body is not protected, does not mean he's not protected. He's not protecting. He's protecting actually. He's protecting the soul, his devotion, and his journey towards him. So Krishna is protecting. Anyway, let's hear from others. Thank you, Prabhu. Xavier Prabhu, you have any point to share?
I joined late, so I like
You could connect to whatever I said, Prabhu.
I like the slide that you had up that talks about like how it says the most powerful person chooses to serve as the driver. So that's like the like it's like that person, so in this case it's Krishna, knows that he's all powerful, but he's chosen to take this like humble position as being a driver of a chariot, willing to put himself in danger to help Arjuna.
Very good.
And then as far as in terms of Arjuna, where it says leadership, that true greatness is not about ego, but about service. And there's a phrase that I like, and I use it at work often. It's the loudest person in the room is always the weakest, or the person with the biggest ego is always the loudest, and therefore they're the weakest, so don't look to them for knowledge or for advice.
Loudest means loudest in terms of being aggressive. So they're the weakest people, like that you're saying.
Correct, yes.
Got it. Very good. You should know that Xavier Prabhu is just 6 months before he came to Krishna consciousness, and he's chanting now 6 rounds, 6, 7 rounds, 4 rounds, I don't know, something he chants like that. And he is very pakka. Every day he comes 8 to 8:30 p.m. Every day practically attend the session. And very, very anxiously taking Krishna consciousness seriously. I mean, we come from background from India, but sometimes we are more wanting, to settle in America and get more opulences in America and get more for some kind of material progress. But actually, you can see there are people like Xavier Prabhu who have been born in this country, and they have seen that how people in this world are not happy. So in the land of America, how people are frustrated. So they are much more anxious to take Krishna than sometimes somebody may be born in a pious Indian family. So that's what Krishna sees. Krishna sees that who's sincerely trying to approach him. That's what matters a lot. So it's an amazing example like that. Okay, so Venu Prabhu, just quickly, can you say one point where you liked, what are you striking?
Yeah, I'm just following. I don't know anything to express, but no, I mean all the good points and everything. Yeah, no, I mean everything what you say, everything what I'm hearing and everything. Yeah, I don't have anything to treat, but yeah.
I had one question to me, which is the dilemma of like Duryodhana and Arjuna. So Duryodhana outwardly very confident, inwardly is
Insecure.
very like troubled. Whereas Arjuna outwardly very troubled, inwardly because of Krishna's guidance and
Yeah, so inward he's troubled, but the thing is, Arjuna knew that I have a shelter.
exactly. So inwardly he was here, like the
Yeah,
it's
correct.
contrast of
Yes,
the two people.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like outward, inward is completely
That's
opposite
true.
for
That's
both of them.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
was one
Yeah,
reflection.
that's true. Correct. Yeah, so Arjuna also apparently was very confused and all that, but internally also he was disturbed, but at the same time he knew there is a shelter. There's another important thing, that it's not about we being confused and not face troubles and difficulties and challenges like this or dilemmas like this. But what more important is, we know that where is my anchor, where is my solution, where is my shelter. So as devotees, we know that we may face attacks of lust, anger, greed, pride, and envy. We may face dilemmas, we may face confusions, we may face misunderstandings, but we know where is my shelter, Krishna. We go back to Krishna and equip ourselves. It's very important. So that's why the same. That's why I'm saying that at deeper level, the Gita is the conversation that's happening between the Lord and soul. And Lord is speaking through Bhagavad Gita and addressing us, our dilemmas, our battles, our difficulties. So that's why we happily take all these situations of life. So some pains also, pains, dilemmas, difficulties, challenges. Knowing that I have my shelter. So we should not fear. We have to face, because the world is like that. There's nothing going to be everything all right. So your wife may be very supportive, she's very beautiful, supportive, and homemaker, and then your parents are very good, your business is flourishing, everything is happening. Then maybe your son may become disobedient to you. Naak mein dam karega wo. No, one thing will go wrong. Or say son is good, everything is nice, this and that. But what happens that you meet an accident, and then you're some kind of disease, and then you cannot eat properly or something like that. Something will happen in this world. So you cannot have everything perfect. This is how the world is designed. So we need that anchor. All of us need, because all of us will face crisis in this world. If not, when we face the crisis of old age and death, that is already there. So you cannot avoid crisis. But how a devotee can remain carefree and happy? Because he knows I have anchor. Amidst all this crisis, I have one support. What is that? Krishna. And then we all need that support. And then we'll be swayed away by the currents of this world. We are lost. But when with Krishna, we are not lost. We grow. Then we don't go through with the situation, we grow through the situations. We grow. Every difficulty will grows you more towards Krishna. You more deeply get connected to Krishna. Just like, a son gets more deeply connected to father whenever he faces challenges. When he finds a shelter in his father. Yes or no? Yeah. Because whenever he finds challenge, that's why his relationship becomes fonder and fonder, deeper and deeper, more intimate. Because when challenges come, you get back to your parents, and then he gives you some direction, you become equipped, and again you go ahead in life. So that gives you gratitude, that gives you the connection, correct? The bond becomes strong. Correct? Sometimes the son becomes sick and parents offer so much love, support, care. That time bond becomes stronger. The sickness becomes a stepping stone to increase that bonding. Same way, all the troubles and obstacles and difficulties will only increase our bonding with Krishna. If we know Krishna is my shelter, and if you're taking shelter of Krishna by regularly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by regularly reading Gita, by regularly associating with devotees, we're living a God-centered life. We always keep that anchor with us. Is that clear? Yes, yeah. Bro, you have any point to share?
Just want to echo one. I've seen Mahabharata. So for someone who is brand new, it might be a little difficult to associate all characters. That's been there. Great session, but I have one question. So if Krishna or the Supreme Lord created this world, why put us through all of this? Like why create troubles? Even in case of Arjuna, why
Yeah.
make him go through all these sensations
Yeah.
to dharmas?
Yeah.
Why
So I
not?
will tell you this will be answered later, Prabhu. We're not going to test. I mean, we're not go further into that. But I'll just tell you in a nutshell that it's not that Krishna created this also for us. We have made our choices by which we're in that situation. Krishna is not responsible. We are responsible. Now, Krishna's words are there to help us to actually sail through our journey in a way that we attain back to him. Again, we go back to him. We attain. But we have fallen into this situation by our own choice, by our own misuse of free will. Not like Krishna has created this for us. We have got into the situation by our own misuse of free will. But we can discuss more about it in future session. A lot of things to say about it later. Yes, Mother, you want to say anything? You want to say thank you to me for you want to say thank you to me for ending the session?
No. The
Anything?
guru is a must.
You want to say
For
something?
guidance. So you want to ask him any question?
Okay, then we'll pause here. Very bold. Thank you so much. So where are you staying, Prashant, Prabhu? Where do you say?